I need a pen. And I'm currently plugged in because my headset gave me a low battery warning literally as soon as I sat down. That's exciting. All right, I gotta find a pen. Hold on. All right.
Looking for the best music for your video?
Oh man.
Then you should check out Artlist.
There we go. It is hailing outside, and yet I am so hot. Oh geez. Wrong count. Okay. We are. This pattern is designed to have like a separate top section from the bottom, and I don't want that. But what I do want is the way the back is and the way it's pretty close to a 1/4 inch. I'll call that good enough. I want all one piece. We have to figure out how this will go onto it. Feels like something's wrong with it. So over this music right now. The front UB. They look so similar. Oh, it's how high the neck is. Oh crap, this is actually the piece we wanted. It's okay. We'll just tape it right on top. No big deal. I do want the wider shoulder. That's my plan. I need it to be able to put the collar in. There, we can turn on and show everybody what I'm working on. my expertly drawn. This is what that's what we're working, that's our goal. The goal of our finished product right there. It's that one. Okay. So this is the back yoke. If we wanted to do, that's not the one we want. I think it's this one. Yes, this one. Because this is done on the fold. This one is not. I got to think about that for a second. I can still cut it on the fold. That's not a problem. I don't know. That's about there. So that makes sense. That's about the right. Because that's her very center. Be at the top. She's not very big. You know? Mm-hmm. So we want the keyhole back. Does drop down into the belt. It actually disappears into the belt line. So this, gotta add some seam allowance here. Ooh, I'm so good at that. That's my actual cut line to give myself seam allowance. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of far away today. And the same thing with this one. Blech. Okay. So when I cut, to make this easier on me, I will just fold pieces. You going nap? What? Oh, touche. We were both up very early. to get the delivery of our appliances was set between 7 a.m. and 11, which is super early. Okay, I think I like that. Yeah, worked really well. So I'm cutting off. Okay. It is hailing really bad outside, and I think there's some thunder and lightning, and it just woke the baby up. Sad baby right now. He'll probably fall asleep in a second, Duggan. Um, um, maybe just a little faster than the electric stove. I guess there's a power thing you can turn on to it. Haven't yet. Okay. Just drawing the collar on. There we go. Little things to remind me what it looks like. I think I'm putting this on by an applique, so that's my plan at least. Originally my thought was I was just going to make this a band, like a neckband, only for the back. Now I am second guessing my decision. Of course. Why wouldn't I second guess my decision once I go live? That's what happens. Okay. Set those aside for just a second, I think, while I ponder my life's choices. Scrunchy pattern, anybody? No. Center back band. That's this piece right here. Though I'm going to need one longer. We're using black though there. Center front band. Unnecessary. Crotch panel. Necessary. Back band view B. Probably closer to the size that I need. Maybe a little long, but closer. Back band view. I'm hacking the heck out of this. Neckband. Not using a neckband. Front neckband. Nope. We're not doing a neckband on this. Like I said, we're hacking stuff. So I have a whole bunch of pieces that I cut out and don't need. It's okay. And then front yoke. View C. Which view am I using? Now I gotta check. I don't even know which view I'm using right now. Okay, turns out I'm kind of using view A. Yeah, baby has laid back down. This song has a weird something in the background. That's okay. It doesn't matter to you guys which view I'm using because I'm making this. Whoa, sorry. I was pulling up Twitch and it pulled it when I'm doing live. Sorry about that. Okay, I need these. Okay, so we're making them short sleeve. Seam allowance. We need to figure out how long do I want the sleeves. I actually don't know the answer to that. I think I want them pretty short. This goes over the shoulder. Like this. You're a much tinier person than I think. So this all the way down here. This is the 3/4 sleeve line. It has to be like elbow length because that's a huge difference. Like that's a lot of sleeve still left there. I think, how many inches is that? 4 inches from here to here. I bet you I'm just going to use that line right there. Feels like a good spot for a short sleeve. Gotta love it. Okay. And then, ooh, that was tricky. I like that. And then for the cuff, now I am listening to royalty-free music, for the record. be shorter. Like the whole sleeve is mostly, it's gonna come out of the armpit. That's where this cuff right here that we're looking at, that I'm working on. See, I want the cuff to be real close to the armpit, and I can't imagine it's more than like 1.5 inches. So we're gonna give it a 1/2 inch to start. I feel like that's much better. That is, a really fancy ruler today. Okay. I always want to put the lid on those markers backwards. Every single time. Oh, I need seam allowance. So I'm going to sew the cuff on. Oops. Seam allowance is the part that gets sewn up by the sewing machine and you don't see it. So it's necessary to actually sew, but it doesn't add any sizing to the garment. Though if you forget to add seam allowance, you will lose size in the garment. So slightly necessary. Hey, Madame Looks-a-Lot. How are you? Always welcome to lurk, as always. Lurk along with me while I tear my brain out in what I thought was well-planned goodness. You know, do what I can. We'll cut this bad Jackson out. And we'll get the fabric out and we can start cutting some fabric. Very exciting. I'm probably going to change this blade since I just cut a whole bunch of paper out with that. We'll be okay. All right, let's cut some fabric. Garbage is over here. Gonna have to get this out of my way for a minute. All right, the best part. Fabric. We have one more. Still haven't decided what I'm doing about this piece. I know I don't need that, that's for sure. But I just don't know if I want to make this like a neckband, this little back piece, or if I want to do it like an applique or a color block. But if I do it like an applique or a color block, I have to probably put elastic inside the low back dip so it holds its shape a little bit. But if I do it like a neckband, I can make the neckband slightly smaller, put it in here, shorten it just a little bit, stretch it, and then it acts as its own stabilizer. And I don't have to like really stretch the elastic to put it in. I can make something that's more just stabilizing. But I'm feeling I have to make a decision. No, I don't have to make a decision. I can cut the front piece out first. And after I cut out probably 20 pieces of this pattern, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are only 5 pieces of this actual pattern that I needed. Had I actually looked at the printing and the directions before cutting it out, I did not need to print out every piece of the pattern. So that's a super bummer, but it's life. I am going to end up with a few more pieces because the collar, the sleeves, the neckbands, things like that. So I'm going to end up with a few more, but there's not a ton of pieces in this costume, which is nice. Get that up. Okay. I do want to label the name of this dance is Boogie Woogie. So I'm going to label my costume pieces with that. So if I have to heaven forbid, have to recut something, I, excuse me, know which pattern to go to right away. Okay, so it looks like there's definitely a shiny and a matte side, even though this is a matte spandex. On the camera, what? Definitely, I have to make an executive decision. Shiny, matte. I don't even know if you guys can tell the difference. It's going to make a difference that every piece has to be the same, but I don't think it matters so much. I'm going to use the matte side as the front. So I'm going to put a little note here. Back on my tag. All right, let's cut. I'm going to stand up to cut. It's who I am. Let's see if you get me. Good enough. Great. I got to stand up to cut. I can't cut sitting down. It's not who I am as a person. Let's figure out my stretch. It's my around. Okay. All right, so I have the shiny side up right now. Right. All right. Pushing things on OBS and making messes. Okay, so we don't need that much fabric side to side for this. Lengthwise, we still do. Ah! Oh no, we have a frozen camera. What happened? Eee. I don't know what happened. I'll plug it back in and see what happened. Oh dear. There we go. I don't know what that was. OBS just freaked out. A good day. Oh. So I have to ignore this little rough line right here. It is not cut perfectly even. Gotta trust it. I swear these little bladed ones stay sharp so much longer than the regular ones. I should put a picture up in the corner of what I'm working on, huh? Keep saying I will and then I don't, and I am sorry. Okay. Now I'm second guessing my line for this. I think I might want to move that up. Boo. That's okay. Actually, I think I might want my lines more like here to here. Just changing it up on the fly. That's how I roll. Okay. That's okay. This is the front here. Boom, 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 boom. Gotta label things so I don't have to figure out which is the front and back of the fabric again. Nobody wants that. Move that so okay. Let's move on to the next piece. It's the most finicky part of this whole procedure. Oh, don't have to worry about that pre-recorded music being erased. Can't happen. You know, because of the place that I work. Because this is my comfortable work area. Thought he was talking to me. He's not. He's talking on the phone. We're cutting on the fold too. So I'm going to kind of freehand the fact that the belt, you can't see this line, but that's my belt line there. The new one that I've made. So my curve is going to start. Good question, huh? I think my curve. Okay. We got this. Honestly, my head works better physically when I'm cutting the fabric than I am trying to draw stuff onto the fabric. That's a mistake I realized I was making as I was drafting just now. The sides and back wouldn't line up if I hadn't taken that little piece off. Because I wanted to give her a little bit more booty coverage. This pattern tends to be kind of high cut. So I use the next size up on the booty coverage right here. That's the cheek coverage. But this is the hip. And so just trust me, y'all. Oh, gotta do it way up here. Okay. There's our back. It doesn't look like much now, but it will, when it gets on and gets stretched, it's going to open up quite a bit. And I can always open it up more. If I wanted, I can always open it more. I cannot always shut it. I cannot always add fabric. Taking away fabric is easy. Making something smaller, easy. Adding to it, not easy. So this is the back front. So it's the back piece of the bodice, but it is the front of the fabric. And I just tore that partially in half. It's all good. It's all fine. All right. Okay. Rocking and rolling. So in the last costume, I just used the regular Lycra as the lining piece. But on this one, because the dancer is just a little bit older, I'm actually going to use cotton Lycra, which has a little bit of absorbency. And it's generally more comfortable for everyone, but the thing about like the super young kids, they don't know any better. So when they don't know any better, it is what it is. My child has never once complained about it. So, I call it good. But when they get to be a little bit older and it's a thing, and there's a comfort issue and You know, they're getting into an age where the absorbency might matter a little more. Make sure to give that to them. Yeah, I have my seam allowance. So the trick with it though is you want something that has some absorbency, has stretch, but also is not going to show up or show through. This is a dark enough color that I probably wouldn't have to worry about it, but generally always want to use a lighter color instead of a darker color. Do not use black as a crotch lining. It's just a good rule of thumb forever. Black as a crotch lining. On stage lights are super bright, so they will things tend to show up more transparent than anytime else, and you don't want to have black slightly showing through as your transparent color. I've lost my marker. I don't know where it went. So we won't worry about that. I'll just pin it and know that that's what that means. Okay. And what else? The neckband is going to be out of the black. And the crotch lining is going to be out of a cotton lycra, which we don't need to worry about because I have to go upstairs and find the crotch lining. All right. That is all out of this green. And I still have like half a yard plus some. Yeah. So what happens? Leotards don't take up a lot of space, which means next time I have a costume for olive green. I know that I have enough to make a leotard for just about any size. I might be really pushing it to make a leotard large enough for someone like me, but I could do it if necessary. All right, so now we got to do the black pieces, and it's this really fun shiny black. It's called Mystique. It's a pain in the butt to sew. And it has a lot more stretch than I'm losing my mind. So what's going on right now? Has a lot more stretch than standard spandex. I don't know why, because I'm pretty sure it's just printed on, but it seems to. But it also doesn't have as much recovery. So after time, it can stretch out if you're, wearing something that's a size too small for you. All right, so I think what my plan is for the belt is I might just cut, because I need to put my seam allowance into the belt. When did I do the belt? I did the belt 2 inches. So I need to do it 2.5 inches to make it where I want it to be. Okay. All right. We're just measuring 2.5 inches. I'm making a template. 1, 2.5. I wish I was an ambidextrous cutter. I'm not. Do another one of those. Okay. Belts. Belt front and back. Done. Almost done. Now we're going to take it, fold in half again, which I should have done a minute ago. Discussing bus pickup. Okay. So we're going to just line those up in this kind of in the center on the fold. It's so dark in here today without the extra sunlight. The camera does a good job of making it not seem so dark. Okay. This is the belt front. Paper. I found another marker. I'm going to try to lose every marker that I own today. That's going to be my goal. Every green marker, or version of green. I've already lost one green. So I cut this with seam allowance with the assumption I was going to color block it. But now my brain is wondering if I want to applique it. I don't want to applique it because this costume is not going to have rhinestones cover the top stitching. So it might look a little rough. On with our initial plan. Continue. And we're lining it up in our new. It's about 1/4 inch seam allowances. That's why the black. So that's why the black goes on a little bit further. There we go. Okay. We're also making sure we're going to pin that right side up. Maybe draw an arrow. Just to save me when I'm coming back to it in a few minutes. Because like now I'm looking at that, I'm like, oh man, did I put that on upside down? I don't actually know the answer to that, so I have to fold it and figure it out. Nope, it's correct. Arrow up. Just saves me a little bit of time later, so I don't have to spend so much time remembering how it's supposed to be pieced together. Even if it's only 10 minutes later, really good at forgetting. So this one is going to be applique on. What was the plan at least? Now I'm wondering if I want to make it its own piece. Ooh, that's going to be a lot of, that's something new that I haven't done before. And I'm interested in it. I don't hate this idea, y'all. I don't know how to do, so it would be, what I was thinking is just now, is this collar piece. So originally I was going to just applique it right on to make it appear like a collar, but now I'm wondering if I want it to actually be a collar and then just tack it down so it doesn't flip around, which is totally doable and fine. But that would mean that I would have to create a two-piece collar around the back. But that's not the point of what I'm doing. Actually, I think I can do both, best of both worlds. But let me see this. View B, view C, view C. Front neckband, back neckband. These look too big. Model C. Center front band. Unneeded. Neckband C. Front neckband, back neck. So there's a lot of neckbands. Front neckband B. Don't need any of those. You guys get to see my thinking face came out just now. Remember when I was gloating at how many pieces I didn't need? And now I'm wishing I'd spent an extra minute thinking. That's trash piece. Trash piece. That's the back of neckband for the view B. But B and A are really like very similar. Hold on. I'll BRB. I just gotta look at some things real fast. Un momento, por favor. All right, check me out. I also unmuted myself this time so you can actually hear me. I reprinted the same one I had. So let's print this. Let's do it, or cut it. We're doing size N, if anyone's wondering. N as in no way. Woo. There we go. That's what I wanted. It's a lot of work for that little tiny piece. That's for this. Urgh. It's fine. Everything is fine. Just losing my marbles. Okay. Let's cut this neckband. Idiot. I just had a genius idea. So smart sometimes. Very pleased with this idea that I just had in my head, but I might have to show rather than just explain. So let me get this cut real fast. May as well use one of the edges I already have. Okay, also with this neckband, I'm going to give myself an extra little bit of space. I can always, I often wish with these patterns that I just had a little bit more working room for these edges up here. And it's, I will end up cutting it off. It's just for me to have the space to do some of the finicky bits. That'll work. It's a little thicker than I want. I might end up, actually, that might be really nice. Neck. Ooh. Okay, we're actually going to cut another one of those because I have to get the back band. The connection piece has to exist. But I know I don't need quite as much because it's going to be straight across. So we're going to call this the back strap. And I'm going to remind myself that I need to measure it still because I don't want to make the assumption that I've already done the work when it comes down to put that on because this step is a ways off. Probably not a today step, very much towards the end. So I don't want to forget the fact that this is not at all measured. Like the strap would be currently big enough to go from me shoulder to shoulder. So I'm sure that I'm going to be cutting it at least in half. Why don't I just give myself a partial leg up? Then at least I know that it's got to go a lot shorter. So there's that. Okay, here's my thought with the back. Instead of doing an applique, hear me out. I'm still going to do an applique, but I'm actually going to just cut this piece out as an applique. But then I'm going to sew them right sides together and flip it. So I automatically hide the raw edge and put the elastic into this seam. And then, and then the elastic's hidden already. This is feeling like the right answer. And I won't scrunch the elastic a lot. And really you won't see it much anyway because of the way it's going to lay. I think I like this. So I've already cut with the seam allowance. That's fine. It's two separate pieces, not one. They're not connected. I do need All right, let's do this. I just got excited. Yeah. I think this is gonna work. If not, we'll try it a different way. Just gonna kind of do a quick just look-see. Oh yeah, I don't need nearly that much. Let's see. Here's my back. So what I'm doing is, because I cut it on the fly, that last one, so I am just matching up the cut that I did on the fly. So they just already match without me having to do really any extra work. Because y'all, enough work goes into making custom costume that I don't need any more work. Because while I am using a pattern, like I'm hacking a pattern that I know how to use. There's that. Ooh, maybe I do want to make it fully around. No, that just seems like extra work at this point. Oh. Because the band comes to right here. Oh yeah, I did that intentionally. Okay. Kitchen scissors, because I just lost my kid scissors somewhere in this mess. That worked out well. All right. Wow, a lot of concentration that just took in my head to cut this. I don't even know where I was at. It was a vibe though, for sure. Ooh, okay. Hot now. Yeah, I think I dig this. Going to be appliquing this edge on, so I want to have as clean of an edge as possible. Should be fine. Okay. It's pretty straightforward what piece this is. Collar. Now I have to make decisions again. Okay. So. Do I applique it down? That was my original plan. No. I mean, yes. The answer is yes. I'm going to applique it down. Which means I don't need any additional seam allowance. That was my pattern mistake here. Losing cutters. Which fabric I can, that's nice. All right. Okay. Collar pieces. Make sure I mark what I'm doing. It's the shoulder piece. Okay. I think we don't have the sleeve pieces yet, and I probably am going to wait on those just a hot minute because I'm likely going to have her try it on before I put the sleeves. I think. So I know if I need to add more length to them. But no. Oh, geez. That got all sideways. Maybe I just draft my sleeve pieces. I don't mind that, right? It's going to take a lot of pieces to these sleeves. I do want my original sleeve piece to do this, though. The space is just a little crowded today. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we're going to draft the sleeve piece. This is the armpit. That's the shoulder, right? Armpit, shoulder. So this is the seam allowance. We'll need that for the sleeve, so that's fine. Hold on, I think I hear a baby. Yeah, I do. Baby's awake. Okay. All right. So I want. Oh. I don't know what I did. I apologize. Okay. It's gonna kind of go like this, but it needs to be bigger than the actual sleeve. So my tissue paper is still packed away somewhere, so we're gonna use this. My tracing paper. I haven't. And that's my ending point plus my seam allowance. Okay. All right. It's gonna take 8 pieces to do this. It'll be fine. This is my fold. All right, so to do this, to make it look right, this is going to have to be, each of these pieces is going to have a front and a back on itself, and then a front and back on the sleeve. So that means I have to do 8 of these to make that sleeve look like what I want. I feel I might want like a little bit more of a forced angle on this. Okay. Yeah, I can always make this. And then I have to draft an epaulette, but that's going to be attached. That attaches at the end, just over the top of everything. So not a big deal. Oh, look. Found them. Ooh. I just had a really great idea. So my thought process right now, what I'm doing is wondering how chunky this armpit seam is gonna get if I do it like I just planned. That's a really chunky seam in your armpit with essentially a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers of fabric. Or if I can cut this as the collar that would the sleeve would go all the way around. Do I still cut it as 2 pieces and then attach the 2 pieces together, you know, so be here and here, or do I cut this on the fold? That's where my brain is at right now. I don't know the answer to that question particularly. So I want to lay it on the fold and see how it looks. I think that looks okay, actually. It's falling off the edge over there. Okay. No, if I want to avoid the seam, just do it on the fold. That's where I'm just thinking in my head. I apologize. When? I only need 4 now. 2. 3. Damn. My baby right now is very into the da, da, da. He doesn't say the word yet for 1, 2, 3, but he just thinks he is so funny. Okay. Those are my sleeve pieces. My cuffs. I like them. I like them. They're gonna be nice. Oh, I'm a little bit stuck right there. Yeah. All right. I think that was officially the last piece that we will sew. I have to make the epaulettes. But I'm not going to cut the epaulettes today. I'm not. They're at the very end. They're going to just get essentially tacked onto the costume. So I am not going to sew. I'm not going to cut them. I want to measure everything on this dancer for the epaulettes over because the epaulettes aren't going to stretch. They're going to have some interfacing inside of them. So because they aren't stretching, we need to have them, or at least not stretch a ton. They need to be, in this case, kind of fit to her. And if you're wondering what epaulettes are, they are the fancy shoulder things. The military still wears them. The military's is like kind of a piece that's attached and has a button on the top. But you can see really fancy epaulettes that have like dangly things. I think Prince used to wear a lot of them. I'm remembering correctly. It was a really like late 80s vibe for sure. So maybe late 80s vibing. Something stuck in my teeth. tons of this Mystique left over. I have another costume. They're still deciding on what they want. And I'm really hoping that they end up wanting the black Mystique leotard because I have tons of it. Tons. Happen there. Yeah, because I had to buy a whole yard of it. Sorry, I had to buy a whole yard of it. It only comes in yard cuts for 12 inches of cuts. Not even 12 inches of cuts. All right. Okay. Oh, that's just a cutout. I was like, what's this piece? It's just a scrap. Okay, so I need to get everything set up. I think to do some sewing. Could probably do a little bit of pinning to start. This song reminds me of Blues Brothers. So what we're gonna do is put with this our right sides together. Nope. We want it like this. So this is gonna go right side to wrong side. Wrong side to right side. Oh, good thing I thought about this. So we're gonna hide that seam. That was a hot second worth of work. Actually, let's flip that. Yeah, I ended up cutting that wrong anyway. Okay. Get there in a minute. Let's do some pinning. Pin it. Howdy, 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 ho. Oh. Nothing like a manual camera adjustments, eh? No head on that needle, that pin. All right, and of course, we love you, lurkers. Thanks for hanging out. tonight. I didn't cut it evenly, which is why these pieces aren't lining up exactly correctly. Which is fine because we're gonna just doing it by feel for a second. We're gonna go right over the top with just trim it all to match. It will be fine. So also gonna put elastic in this. But the elastic is gonna go onto this side. And I think I'm gonna zigzag it in once I've already stitched this down. That's the plan. So that is pinned. We'll go back in for elastic. We can actually measure for the elastic, I think. $11, $12, $13. So elastic. The back opening is 26 inches. That's my pattern piece. Cuff. Back open equals 26 inches. Should get this a little note to myself right here on the computer. So we can remember, so I can remember that in, just a little while. But we'll figure that out. Okay, let's pin a few more things. So that's pinned for now. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Cuffs, collars. All right, so collars are pretty much a straight applique on. And should be really straightforward. We're just gonna flip this. I so love electro swing. Such my jam. Not very chill crafting music. I realize that, but sorry, not sorry. It's my prerogative. And okay. I was checking the baby. I thought I heard him cry again. He's back asleep. I am truthfully impressed by the fact that he's back asleep again. Okay, glue. I gotta spray it over here though. Try to avoid overspray. don't have long. The directions say, wait 1 minute to apply. You don't have that long. Like, no. Eat. Got it. Because you don't have 1 minute. Now it's kind of forgiving. You can peel it and do it again, but oh, I sprayed overspray, which I was trying really hard not to do. There we go. Just fold it up on itself a little bit right there. Okay. Not bad. All right, let's do some pins in there just to make sure it stays really nicely. These lyrics are questionable. But, you know, we love it. All right, so we are just pinning down these appliques. And going to we just glued them down. My trusty pattern and stencil adhesive. It's a temporary adhesive, so it's really nice for getting stuff like this on long enough to pin so it doesn't slip and slide all over, and then we'll be done with it. I'm just getting stuff pinned, and then we can start sewing, I think. Gotta check and see what time it is. Got started a little later today because the day job, a little bit of work got in the way. I want to pin that there so it doesn't pop up as I sew. We're just gonna top stitch this with a zigzag stitch. And I won't be using invisible thread. I'll just use black thread for this, which I think will make it so the stitches aren't quite as noticeable because I'm not going to be doing any like rhinestones or stoning on the edge. Okay, so that's that. Now, I decided that I'm not appliquing the piece on, which means that was my plan. Let's see. These are my belt pieces. Front belt, top. So it goes on like this. Like so, like that. I think so, yeah. And I think I've decided that I don't want to applique this on, that I actually want to color block it is my plan. Right? Because I don't want to see the applique look. That's what I was thinking. But I'm going to pull up the picture real fast of the, what's the word I'm looking for when you, reference, the inspiration. Inspiration is the word I was thinking of. inspiration photo. Let me pull up the inspiration photo. I have a couple of them. Just want to hide. So this is one of the inspiration photos. I don't care about showing the child's face because it is in a costume catalog. She is public domain at this point, but that's the belt. I haven't lined the front of this yet either. I gotta put some lining in it. Okay, so that's the costume. I can't really tell from this picture. I think, let's look at the other one, but I gotta hide faces for a second, so hold on. Okay, so there's the other inspiration photo. This is what we're doing with the collar right now. Here, we're actually keeping it down permanently. But it looks like they're doing it slightly different than I did it. It might be 2 layers. It's fine. Oh, I don't want to show you their kids' faces. I think, it's hard to tell, but I think so their belts aren't even color blocked on. Their belts are like an actual belt that's like a piece of fabric around them and then safety pinned. So I can do whatever I want in this case. Well, hello there. That gives me... So the only reason I haven't done this way is because I want to make sure that when I top stitch up here, that the top stitching doesn't leave such a mark that I'm disappointed by the look of it. I want it to be a nice clean line because we're not putting rhinestones along the edges. So that changes the way it looks just a little bit. That's okay. Okay. So I'm going to wait on this. I'm probably going to sew this up. Oh, I'm a little bit sticky. A little sticky. So sew this down. Sew the back color down, add the elastic on. I think I need to put black thread into my serger. It's not water. It's not who I am as a person. Okay. So I'm just going to take a hot second to get everything moved over and reset up so you can see the sewing that I'm doing. And then we'll thread a machine and we'll do a little bit of sewing. So I will, BRB, I'm also going to go to the bathroom and maybe walk around for just a second, take a breath. So I'll be right back.
What you get in a hi-fi set is best described as presence, a feeling of life and nearness in the music.
All right. Sorry about that. This camera is going to see the back of my head for a minute. It's kind of stuck where it is. It is what it is. Sorry. But this one over here, you'll be able to see what we're doing. We got to change some thread. Very, very exciting world of changing thread. All right. Let's see. Black. I'm missing one of my black cones. Sure it wasn't a child who came and snagged it. Let's see. Maybe gray would be. All right. Whoop, whoop. Sorry. Gonna put my head into it for a minute. So I can pull. I'm actually thinking I might leave the gray because it will match. I think it might match a little better the green. Yeah, I'm gonna leave the gray. Okay, let's get these out of the way. Oh yeah, lurks a lot. I hate changing it too. That's a lie. I used to hate it, and I always dread it. I always think like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be the worst. And then it's really doesn't end up being the worst. Oh geez. Ah. There it is. Wasn't quite on the right, but it ends up being not that big a deal. Especially if I have tweezers handy, which I don't. It's okay, we're making it work. It's getting close to needing to clean the machine a little bit. But we've got a couple places that we're gonna do some serging. Generally on this type of costume, most of what I do is serging because it's a really nice, strong, and stretchy stitch. It'll just maintain the stretch that the garment needs because it's a negative ease garment. And what that means is that the fabric, when you cut the fabric's actually been cut smaller than the measurements of the person that's wearing it because it's stretchy. So things like swimsuits are negative ease, right? Oh, uh-oh. That didn't come out right. Uh-oh. Well, crap. Let's try that again. Oh, I for sure hear the baby this time. I just lick my thread. Don't worry, the licked part won't end up on the costume. And if you're wondering, the answer is yes. Yes, there is a certain order to thread your serger. Julie, idiot. And no, I did not thread it in the correct order. And yes, there's a high likelihood that it's not going to work out for me in just a few minutes. So I tried to sew my finger just now. Let's see if this is working now. No. And that's why we have to pay attention to how the order we thread things. Because I failed. Try that again. I don't need to worry about the top threads. There are people that say the top threads very much matter. I 1000% disagree that I don't need to worry about the order of the top threads. Well, I put them in the right order, but I can just make sure they're not woven. That's what I forgot. They were still kind of woven underneath to catch the looper. And that's the problem I just made. So get that one out of the way. You come next. Oh, wait. One does go first. Blue goes first. Look, it gives me the order. 1, 2, 3, 4. My old machine was different. It was just straight up 1, 2, 3, 4. Go, go, go. Ow! Go, little thread. Go into your home. Gotcha. Stinker. Okay. Thread number 2. Even gives you a nice little diagram. Ugh. Like I said, easier to do with some tweezers. And this is why I hate dread threading the machine. Not because it's particularly hard, but because I managed to screw it up. And I happen to know this one has to go over the top. Also, this is a fairly new machine for me. Actually, I've probably had this machine for about a year now, but I still feel like it's new. Yes! Yells, we did it. Got it. Nailed it. Okay. Let's grab a test piece of fabric just in case to save our sanity. The last thing we need is to have wished that we'd done a test run. All right. Ah, pin on the floor. Emergency. All right. So we're just going to do a little testy McTesterson. Just gonna check the tension. Generally check how we like it, especially tension. Actually, I like that pretty well for the 2 layers. Look, lots of stretch. Feel like I might want my differential to be just a hair longer. Let's do one more test. So I'm just adjusting the stitch length on this so I get the right feel. Oh, geez. Do I need a new blade on this? It's doing a weird cut. Nope. Take that right back to where I had that. I like it better the other way. So, also something to note, this fabric is terrible to sew because it's got all these little like shiny, sparkly pieces to it. Those are, I don't know on Mystique if it's, I think it's printed onto the fabric. Look, it's gotten worse. Let's say we want to deal with some tension situation. Oh, let's take that tension back down a little. And which looper is the problem? Upper or lower? Both. Equally terrible right now. Okay. Sorry, I know this isn't a very like exciting piece of it, but if I don't want to go through and have to redo every seam, it's important. It's an important part of sewing. Yeah, that'll be fine. Because I won't be doing all slippery fabric anyway. Okay, let's try this. We aren't actually going to be cutting off any of the seam allowance anyway, so that should help with the knife slipping that's happening with this fabric. Because this pattern calls for 1/4 inch seam allowances, and my machines cut where the knife blade is to the seam blade, the second needle blade, which is this one, to my knife blade is a 1/4 inch. Hold on. Now it's a 1/4 inch. There we go. Now it's a 1/4 inch. It's a very small adjustment. It's fine. Okay. All right, that's sewn together. All right. One more pin. Sorry, I forgot that you guys can't see. I apologize. So yeah, we're not going to actually be cutting off a ton of fabric. It's more about just it's more about just the seam itself in this situation. So a little bit cutting off, but also now I'm sewing it against the back of the Mystique versus the front. Oops, I just flipped that pin into eternity on the floor. I'll run my magnet over it later. I'm actually going to take these up just a bit more. Sewing away. I am not really stretching the fabric now at all. Maybe just a teeny tiny bit so it matches up on itself. Other than that, there's really no stretch in it. That's weird. Now my pins are going the wrong way. I didn't think that through as I pinned it. That's okay. That's okay. Everything's fine. It's actually working out really well. I'm pleased. Now, if I were doing this with a cotton or a woven fabric, I would absolutely be heating the iron up right now to press these seams flat. However, this is Lycra, spandex. I have yet to really decide in my life if it actually helps or not to press. Some people are going to die hard tell you absolutely it's going to make a huge difference. Some people are going to tell you it doesn't matter. So now that we've sewn that, right? We sewed it right side of the collar to the wrong side of the fabric. When we flip this over, now that's the right side of it. It will be this nice collar that follows all the way down, well, not collar, kind of band looking thing all the way down the back and around, and the seam will be nice and finished and hidden in here. So the next step that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, before I flip it and tack and top stitch it down though, I'm going to put elastic along this edge. I'm not going to use a ton of, I'm not going to really stretch the elastic. Teaching moment. Let me get a piece of elastic. I just broke a nail on something random too. That's fun. Okay. Oh, see a piece of elastic. Let me look under here. I know that recently I just bought rolls and rolls of elastic. This is what I get for not having finished organizing my life. I found my other black cone. Too late. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to find elastic for this anyway. Okay. Well, we'll use this. So, if this were a piece of elastic, let's just pretend this is a piece of elastic, okay? Elastic has stretch, right? So if I were making a scrunchie and I wanted this, I wanted the fabric to really like scrunch up as a scrunchies want to do, you would use, if this was the fabric for the scrunchie, you'd get an elastic like this big, let's say. That's obviously not the right measurements. And then you would stretch the elastic, sew it around in a loop, and when the elastic is let go, it wants to back to its regular size, and it scrunches all up. So in the case of what we're doing on the back of this, the elastic is to give it a bit of stability, so the back, this nice pretty curved low back that we have, doesn't just like pull itself open and away out of this shape. The last thing we want is for this leotard to like be pulled so hard that it opens the back into a funny shape and won't stay up on the dancer's shoulders or all the other myriad of issues. So I want to use elastic as a stabilizer and less as like a scrunching mechanism. So this I know because I have measured, this loop is 26 inches and I probably will use 20 inches of elastic. So there will be a slight pull, especially we'll do a little bit down here. We probably won't pull much at all up here, and then we'll give it a little bit of pull down here, just so it keeps a nice curvy shape. Yes, please. That would be fantastic. Sorry, talking about the husband taking us home. So that's the plan anyways, which means I have to go find my rolls and rolls of elastic. Okay, so there is that. I also have to go find my black thread, and baby is possibly still sleeping. All right, so before we do that, we're gonna sew our sleeve cuffs together. All right, now for the sleeve cuffs, there's another cuff around here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is the top of the cuff, this is the bottom, and this is the raw edge. And we can leave the raw edge raw right now. It's an odd way to say that. Because of how it attaches to the sleeve itself later, we don't need to finish. That edge is going to be finished later in a different step. So I also want to make these really nice sharp points. So I'm going to sew right off the edge and then sew right back on. Come on, come on, come on. You can do this. Sew right back on the edge. Just make sure I'm still catching both my layers. I definitely am. Okay. Yeah, this is sewing and cutting much better when the reverse side is showing versus the side that has the printing. A little nervous about top stitching this because I do know it can be so finicky, but it's going to be fine. I think this is the first stream ever, knock on wood, that I have not been hounded by my children at some point. The day is young. The pins just stuck to my snips instead of. Okay. Actually snip that off. A little bit of static today. Okay. And then this gets flipped. Oh. Sewed over a little piece there. This is the moment of truth as to whether or not I need to redo it with the black thread. Where's my pokey tool? Well, it's fine right now. Ugh, push. Pokey tool. Pokey tool. Using my finger as a pokey tool today. John, you gotta go. Go remind him that. Actually. So there is the sleeve pieces. The cuff for the sleeves. And they will go around and they're going to actually just attach like that. And then be sewn in to the edge of the sleeve. And then the epaulette. This is so hard to imagine. They're going to be sewn together here. This is the shoulder. Your shoulder would come up this way. Your armpits right here. This is open. They'll be green underneath. And then the epaulette will be up like this over the top of it. We're kind of doing a weird direction for an epaulette. That's the plan. Okay. All right. Just one of those. There is, let's do the second one of these. And I think the gray was fine. You can't even tell with the sparkles. Look great, which is good because I think the gray is going to match, blend into the green a little bit more than black would. And I know that sounds odd because we're using black on the costume. I mean, likely you wouldn't notice, but black is darker than the gray that I'm using, this grayish silver. And so it has more likelihood of showing up under the seam. And I just want the seams to be nice and clean looking as you pull, because it doesn't matter what you do. When you stretch a costume or a swimsuit away from each other as it's being worn, the seams, the little threads show in the seams. There's really nothing you can do about it. With, a serger or your, standard sewing machine, you have to use, to avoid that, you have to use a cover stitch machine. And even then with a cover stitch machine, like it's a flat, you really are showing the threads. You're just kind of showing off the threads versus hiding the threads. So most like leggings use a cover stitch on the top. That's kind of the look you're going. Cut that off. Ah! All right. Woo. There's the other one of these. And push that out as hard as we can. Boom, 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 ba-doo, ba-doo, ba-doo. Okay. There's the other one. Gonna go find some black thread so we can try top stitching the, you can't see what I'm pointing at, the collar as kind of our test to see whether or not the plan I have for the top stitch works before I commit to it before I commit to top stitching for the belt and really all the other places that have top stitching, including that back kind of band piece. Before I commit to the top stitch look, I want to test out, and I feel like the collar is probably a pretty good test because it's a smaller piece. And I feel like also at some point I brought my bucket of threads down. I don't think I did. And the threads are in the room with the baby, who is possibly still sleeping. We can check that. I can look and see if he's still sleeping. I just don't want to wake him up if he's still sleeping, because he's gets to be on our turn. Yep, still sleeping. And I can actually see okay. My sewing room, my former sewing room, is now the baby's room. And it's still not all moved down here, because right now I am in what used to be our dining room. It is not a very large space. And I have not finished putting everything away out of his room yet. And I can see in there the two things I use all the time. One of them is like a bucket of elastic thread. Stuff that I used to have on like a windowsill was my organizing unit, and then also my organizer, which has all my snaps and fasteners and things like that. So that's a super bummer that I keep forgetting to bring them down. I did buy storage bins though for me to get all the fabric that's up there stored away until we finish the basement and I get a sewing room back. So I think I might be at a moderate standstill because I don't have any thread. And I really can't serge any more pieces together. I did get... Whoa. Crazy sauce. I did get the fasteners in stock for... Here, we're going to do this. I did get the fasteners in stock for... Then all of my neckbands that I do, which I'm kind of excited about. I got a couple. I bought some different kinds. Super cheap. So these ones are kind of my preferred fastener. Let's see if you can see they're clear, but which way do they pop? Oh, that's only one side. They don't pop on just one side. So they're like bikini, so they flip, clip, and they will slide. So you would have your neckband pieces that go right here. They slide in and snap close, and they're super secure. I love them. These are my preferred option, but there are times when I have like a thicker neckband. So the green costume that we're working on right now will get one of these fun like bra clasps. I don't know if fun is the right word. He carried you? And then for the Amazing Maisie costume that has a thicker band, they're just one-sided, so you make a pocket out of the other side and it just slides on and holds. I don't love these as much. They're not quite as secure, but they're okay. So it's fine. Do what we can with what we have. But I'm excited because I found them from the place I ordered. They were having a little sale, and so I got 12, 24, 1 dozen, so 12 fasteners of those, and 24 of the bigger ones. I think my total order was $8 for both of them. Mommy. Hey, baby. What? You're hungry? Come here, you want to say hi? Wonder? Come here, I'll jump. We gotta jump. Whoa! Okay, jump up. 1, 2, 3. Ugh.
Hi.
How's school?
Good.
Good. Did you have fun? Did you learn anything new? What'd you learn?
I learned about making tab.
Oh, fun. Okay. What do you want to eat?
Cakes and chicken.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, duck under, careful.
And-
Whoa. Because I don't want you to knock it over. Chicken, and I don't have any strawberries right now. We gotta go to the store. Strawberries are not in season either. Okay, so I think I'm probably gonna call it there since I don't have any thread to finish it with. And I don't really feel like getting out like a diamond painting or something at the moment because I am hungry as well and I probably could go to the grocery store because it's been a hot minute. But I did get new appliances. They got delivered today, which is massively exciting. She's saying hi again. Appliances coming back is absolutely excellent. And for those of you here right now, if you haven't already followed, I'd super appreciate it. No pressure, just so I can make affiliate. I'm working on it. I'm getting pretty close. I just need a couple more follows. My goal is Thanksgiving, so I have lots of time. No pressure. Let's see who's on, and we'll raid with our small party. And you don't have to stick around for the raid. You can exit out right away. I get that. Let's see. I think making earrings and inking domino sets. Oh, she's pouring. Okay, we're gonna go to Momo Crafting. She does resin art. Super cool. And we are all set. Okay, bye everybody.